Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki Karis, and I want to welcome you to episode 5 of Tail Life TV. For those of you who are new to my channel, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, but especially thank those who are just now tuning in. Tail Life TV is a new channel. I recently began it a couple of weeks ago. It's based upon my love of rescue cats and dogs. I happen to have several here at my home at the Karis Animal Sanctuary in Tarpon Springs, Florida. It's also associated with my website, taillife.com. That's TAIL-life.com. And that website is devoted to uniting people and their pets around the world. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the site, please do so. It's just in its infancy and will be growing through the years. It has merchandise for pets, humans. It has a social media site soon to come, a pet memorial site, and much, much more. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. If you haven't watched the first 4 episodes, you can check those out on Rumble and YouTube, both at Tail Life. And also you can find them on my Facebook pages, my business page for Tail Life, as well as my personal page, Nikki Karis. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce this evening's guest, who is Esther Aponte. We've spoken a couple of times, and I really look forward to sharing her story. We have several different avenues that we're going to be pursuing this evening, including grief of losing a pet, as well as her love for martial arts. So without further ado, let me welcome her into the studio.
Hi, Nikki and everyone.
Hi, Esther. I'm so glad we finally got to do this podcast.
I know.
I know. We've had a couple of cancellations, and one of them, unfortunately, related to the passing of my sweet dog, Bambi, a little over a week ago. So I thank you for rescheduling.
No problem. I'm so sorry that you lost her.
Oh, thank you. It's always so hard to lose one. As you know, they become, well, they are our family. They don't become our family. They are our family. And I believe that every one of them is destined to be with us.
Exactly. And they each take a little piece of us with them when they go.
Yeah,
and we all grieve very differently over the loss of our pets, just like we do over the loss of our 2-legged family.
I mean, sometimes, I don't know about you, Esther, sometimes I feel like I've taken the loss of my pets harder than the loss of, my parents. Although, I miss my parents dearly, but there's just been something about the loss and losing these animals. And maybe it's because they're with us for such a short period of time, but it just seems to hit so deeply. Something, I don't know, it's so deep. It's so hard to describe until you actually go through it.
Right. I completely agree. When I lost my heart dog, I didn't actually even realize he was my heart dog. I wasn't sure I ever really believed. I love all my animals. I love all animals. Every animal that's come across my path, I absolutely love. I think I have more Facebook dog page friends than I do people ones. And I will never forget, this was something we never talked about, but it's kind of come up. My first dog page Facebook friend, when it was Duncan, when he passed away, I've never even met him. When he passed away, he was a disabled dog. When he passed away, I totally fell apart. I might as well have had him in my house every single day, the way it affected me. After he passed, I kind of backed away a lot from those pages because they consumed my life so much. They were all my friends. They were all my friends.
No, I know. I've followed some as well. And I don't as much anymore just because I don't have the time. I think there was a period when I was heavily into animal rescue and following a lot of pages because I was in a healing process myself after my dad passed away. And so I was just drawn, to various pages. And I know what you mean. You follow this animal through their journey, sometimes coming from these horrific circumstances, and then finding their forever home and just, absolutely blossoming into these magnificent creatures. And then for them to pass on, it's like you've lost one of your own.
Exactly. Yep. And when you mentioned that it's affected, I get exactly what you mean. It affected you differently than, you grieved harder or more over the
Right.
loss of your dogs or pets than you did family. I was the same exact way. My mom has been gone 22 years. I still talk to her every day.
Wow.
Okay. But I did not, under any circumstances, grieve for her as hard as I did for my Harley.
And let's put a picture up of Harley, not to interrupt you. And then I want you to tell the story about Harley. Oh, so cute.
That's when he was a puppy. That's like my favorite picture of him. He was a stray I found in my neighborhood back in 2006. They reckoned he was probably only about 6 months old. He ended up having mouth cancer.
Oh, no.
And I had to put him down in 2015. I will never, ever forget that day. It was the worst day of my life. I even lost my job over the grief of losing him.
Oh, wow.
My job, I will say, were very, very, very supportive around the loss. My supervisor and my manager are very much dog people themselves, but I just fell apart so badly and went into such depression that I couldn't even function.
Wow.
And luckily, I was working from home at the time, so I did try to go back, but things just did not work out at all. I realized how much him and I actually interacted. And I had written a poem. I don't know. Did you get the picture with the poem?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I don't remember it off the top. I've gone blank now.
You may have sent it. I do apologize. I might have missed it, Esther.
It's okay. I wrote a poem about how he was my first male dog. I've never had a male dog till him. I didn't want a male dog. He wasn't even fixed. I was like horrified with certain things. But he ended up being my heart dog, and he talked back to me.
Oh, wow.
We had a journey. He used to snip at me. He was a one-person dog. He kind of became my daughter's, more my daughter's dog. Whenever she went away, like to summer camp, he was my dog.
Oh, wow.
When she left for college, he was my dog. But the minute she walked through that door, he was her dog. Wow. I couldn't even reach in a finger like this into her bedroom. He would be...
Gosh.
When he wasn't home, he would be right in my face, sitting on my shoulder, being loving as anything.
Wow. And how long did you have him again?
From 2006 to 2015.
Okay, so 9 years. And so, I mean, his death really obviously hit you hard because you said you went into a state of depression and ended up losing your job. And I mean, I think there's people out there who've gone through that same, I know I have that same feeling of just hitting rock bottom after your dog dies. It's I know when my first dog, it happened in a very spiritual way that I came to rescue him. He appeared, he was in a parking lot And I had a very spiritual experience with a man riding up on a bike, which I won't share too much of that because it's in my book, Goddogs, which is available on Amazon and also on my website. But we went some journey, just like you said, the word journey. And Polly and I traveled quite a journey. And when he died, I mean, I thought somebody had just taken and just, put a dagger into my heart. It was so bad. And just that horrible feeling of, well, because it happened suddenly and unexpectedly. He died on the operating table for a routine biopsy. So it wasn't expected. And I that just grief, it was like somebody just took a dagger right into my heart. And I was like, am I going to survive this? This is horrible. And that's when I went out and, almost immediately within like a week, I'm like, I can't be without a dog. And I'd never had a dog before Polly. I was never going to have dogs. And then I adopted Picasso, and that's what started me on my journey. So,
right. And
so I went through that too.
I think we all grieve very differently. And it is, I mean, dogs, they're so special. They're so innocent, and they give totally of themselves. And when there is really a big difference between true dog lovers who bring in the animal as a member of the family and someone who just has a dog, a pet.
Right.
There is a huge difference, and they're going to grieve differently. I do not know anybody in rescue that doesn't fall apart every single time that they lose one of their dogs. And some of us, like with grief over family, some of us grieve harder than others.
I think we all grieve differently. And I don't think we should put any pressure upon anyone to grieve a certain way or within a certain time period. No. I mean, there are some healthy boundaries, meaning if somebody's falling into too much of a state of depression, or, you want to make sure that you keep a watchful eye over them, because obviously need to be able to pick ourselves up at some point in time.
Right.
But there's just a fine line in knowing when you're trying to dictate someone's path versus helping them if they're stumbling along the way, if I'm making sense.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, I mean, I know, Esther, I've been on the island of Eleuthera, which is where I've done a lot of my rescue. And just this past February, there was a young puppy. His name was Leo. And somebody asked me to come check on him. And he had been under a table injured for 2 weeks. Now, I was supposed to be on the island 2 weeks earlier. So, of course, going through my head, what if? And by the time I got to him, he had been hit by a car, something, or a bigger dog had grabbed him and shook him, and he was paralyzed.
Oh.
And he was only with me from, say, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 3, until maybe 24 hours. Maybe less than that, 20 hours, and took him to the vet, which on the island, she's not there all the time. Thankfully, she was on the island, and it was a day that she had clinic. And, we had him x-rayed, and it just showed, his spine was crushed in a certain, and you could tell he was ready to go. But he cried out during the night and was screaming at one point. I was so afraid the people staying next to me had heard him. And where I'm going with this is, in 20 hours, that special soul, Leo, touched me in a way I just couldn't believe it. Because when I had to euthanize him, put him to sleep, because he just didn't have, he was ready to go. He was fading on me. And there was nothing I could do to get him back to Florida. I cried buckets. I cried buckets the whole rest of the afternoon. I was just a mess over this little dog who appeared in my life for 20 hours.
Right.
So right. I get it. We all grieve differently, and God bless the full-time rescue people. I'm not full-time into rescue. I'm not really actually a rescuer. I'm just somebody that picks them up off the streets when they find me. But I don't know how they sustain and go through those losses over and over again.
Well, that is rescuing them. You actually do more rescue doing than I do. I'm in the
Well, I'm not a
background.
formal rescue. We'll put it that way. I'm not a
Yeah.
501c3. I just do it out of the goodness of my heart. So
Right, but you're still saving them
that's
basically
true.
from life on the streets and some of them injured. And, I've seen your stories about,
Thank you.
how you find them homes there, good homes
Yeah.
in the Bahamas.
Yep.
You don't bring them all and hoard them all in
No.
your house by any means.
No, I can't. My goodness. I mean, I do have a fair number, but I've been very blessed with finding them, a couple of them homes in the Bahamas, some others, here in Florida.
Right.
And some are in different states, all
Right.
over.
And
So
that's more than I do in rescue. What I do in rescue is the background nice stuff like home checks, transport from a foster home to the vet's office
right.
and back, or things like that. So I kind of consider myself, I do the nice part of rescue.
Right.
I know I could not handle being part of a rescue, or part of rescues and being part of where I am actually seeing the dog in a horrible state. There's no way on
I
earth.
know. It's hard. It is hard. And I'm going to have to do this because Solomon, my dog, for the first time in doing one of these podcasts, has decided he wants out. So I'm going to just play a video real quick of Lulu in the Bahamas, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to do this to everyone who's watching, but when Solomon calls, Mom listens. So
Yeah. I kind of threw Sassy out in the backyard because she kept barking.
So here, let me play. This is just a video. It's a minute. I'll be right back. Let's see. Okay, that's Lulu. She's out chasing the fish. We're here at Savannah Sound. She injured her hip somewhat yesterday, but it doesn't seem to be slowing her down today. Baby girl. And we just love it here. It's absolutely spectacular. The tide goes out in the afternoon and it just creates this incredible open savanna where Lulu can run. We always like to take a nice long walk. It's just amazing. I think this is our favorite place on Eleuthera, at least for walking and now, does that not make you want to be in the Bahamas?
I know, right?
I know. So for everybody who doesn't know, that's Lulu, she's from that island, and she's been with me now close to 7 years, and she travels with me back to Eleuthera. And every time that we go, she just looks at me and is like, please tell me you're not rescuing a dog this time. Because, she like one-on-one. So anyway, sorry
Right.
about the interruption. But like I said, when Solomon calls, Mom listens. So tell us about your current babies, Lincoln and
Before I tell
Sassy.
you about them, I want to go back to the beginning. So, since I've lived in Florida, which is 25 years now, the first dog that we got when my daughter was young, she was probably about 7, was Queenie.
Let me put Queenie up.
We got her from the Humane Society.
Okay.
And she was about a year old. She had been returned like 4 times by previous adopters who claimed she chewed everything and, was horrible dog and all this stuff. The worst thing she ever did was she was a runner. If she got out, she was going to run. And the only way to catch her was to go out in the car and get her to get into the car, which she usually would. But by the time, I wish that when I got her, I would have had greyhounds, because she ran so fast. By the time I could run in the house, get my keys, get in the car, she'd be like 4 blocks.
Wow. She probably outrun the greyhounds. Excuse me.
And I don't know about that, but I always kind of pictured her running underneath them, kind of keeping up.
Oh, how sweet. How sweet.
Which true greyhound people laugh at me when I say that, because there's no way that can realistically happen. I had her for, we adopted her in 2002,
Uh-huh.
and we had her till 2018.
Oh, wow. She lived a good life. Nice long
She
life.
absolutely did. She ended up having a doggy dementia.
Uh-huh.
And she saw me through Harley.
Oh,
She actually accepted Harley into the home, or I would not have kept Harley when I
wow.
found him. We tried to bring a puppy in a few months before, and she was going to have none of it.
Wow. So Harley was definitely meant to be. So
Part of our household,
yes.
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 Yep. And I do believe that she grieved herself somewhat when he suddenly
Oh,
wasn't around.
I think that the pets, that's one thing we don't give enough credit to, is that, the packs and the bonds that they form, we may not understand it because they're not speaking. They don't talk to us and say, hey, this is how I feel about Harley, Queenie, but they have their own language. And
Right.
then when one of them goes, the other grieves. I mean, I lost one in November of 2021, my soul dog Picasso, and his best buddy Nino went 2 months later.
Right.
I mean, just boom, like all of a
Mm.
sudden, because they had a dance they did every morning,
Aw.
and so it was a brother dance. It was the neatest thing. And I guess they were so bonded, one wasn't going without the other. So
Aw.
I
Well,
know.
this was like one picture that I had of them,
Mhm.
and I went to an event to raise money for dogs, and this was a painting I did.
Oh, that's great. I love that. So you
So
had,
that's two of them, Queenie and Harley.
and then you had King, was it King Brian was next?
After I lost Harley, I was never going to get another dog.
Hmm.
I felt by then Queenie was already losing her sight and her hearing somewhat. I wanted to devote my time to her. But at that time, I was involved in a pit bull rescue. And I got involved with pit bull rescue because they had such a bad reputation. I
Right.
wanted to learn about this breed and see. Well, I found out they're nowhere near as bad
Oh no, they're
as
sweet.
yes, I love their big fat smiling faces. But I also learned that the breed was not for me.
Right.
They are very high energy. I am not high energy. And although I could spend a day with them doing events, there was no way I could have one 24/7. So, but I loved working with them. And I was at an event, and across the way, I saw this skinny, bony, pointy faced thing looking at me. I didn't know anything about greyhounds. I had never, to be honest, I'd never even been to a greyhound race. I knew nothing. I didn't know they raced, nothing.
I'm gonna
I
put
only
him
knew
up.
about horses racing. King Brian was across the way.
And that's King Brian, whose photo I've put up.
That's King Brian. King Brian was a return to the rescue. He had been he was a retired a greyhound,
Hmm.
and he was returned to the rescue because his parents were elderly. One of them was extremely sick. The other one was caring for them, and then when they just weren't able to look after him and be a caregiver, and they ended up getting very ill. When our rescue went to go, which was a different branch than I'm involved with now, when they went to go pick him up, he had no mobility in his back
Oh,
end.
poor baby.
And he was in a foster home with a few other dogs and not getting, it's not that they weren't caring for him, but he really needed the one on one
Right.
more care. So we got him to the point where he could walk. But going back to the event, when I went on my break, I walked over that way and this dog came and clung to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
learned at that point greyhounds are leaners. They're going to claim you by leaning on you. If a greyhound is leaning on you, they really like you.
Oh, lovely.
Like Velcro.
Oh, yeah, the
You know,
Velcro. That's what I've heard.
yeah,
Yes.
yes. He leaned on me. They told me that he had not looked, they only had him in the rescue for a week or two. They said that he was very unsettled the whole time. Yet when I went over there, he laid down and it was like he took a huge sigh.
Oh,
And I laid down on
wonderful.
the ground with him and was petting him and talking to him. He claimed me. I
Wow.
did not. First of all, I live in a very small house. It's under 900 square feet. I thought I've only ever had small to medium sized dogs. What am I going to do with this tall, skinny deer looking thing? I knew nothing about them, but I had to go with Queenie the following week to see him at a meet and greet, which was, I believe back then was in Dunedin. And again, they said he has been so unsettled. And the minute he saw me, it was like a huge relief for him. I brought him home that day.
You were his person.
I was his
You were
person,
his person.
and it was like having a deer in the house.
Wow.
I just was absolutely amazed. Like, how does this dog take up so much space? Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But we managed it and it was all really fine. And it's funny with Lincoln now, no way do I feel that way at all.
Right. Right.
I
Well, it's
feel
your
like I have
first,
a small
you know,
dog.
first walk into that arena. So it's a bit of a shock when you have a larger dog and you're not used to it.
Exactly. So him and I bonded a lot, and I suddenly some things happened with the rescue, with that part of the rescue. This
Okay.
was a branch of the main rescue, used to be located out of Orlando. I suddenly get a phone call after a few months. I was just supposed to be long term fostering him
Mhm.
until we could figure out what was wrong with him because he kept collapsing. The vets could find nothing wrong. They couldn't see anything. Anyway, to make a long story short, I pretty much was told by the main branch of the rescue, you either have to adopt him now or give him back.
Right. And you
And I
knew.
said, I had him about 3 months already. And I was like, no way am I giving him up.
Oh, how sweet.
So I immediately signed all the papers. They did continue to help me and support. I had sent them all the information from the vets, previous vets, my vets. Their vets looked at it all. The dog is being treated properly. The treatments are all that can be done. I wanted to try acupuncture. This was after about 5 or 6 months. I wanted to do acupuncture to see if that would help, because every now and again, it wasn't often, every now and again, he would just, his back end would give out on him.
Right. Right.
And they couldn't find anything wrong. So I
Mhm.
took him to Westlake because they
Mhm.
did acupuncture there. And he said because of the situation, we're going to have to do some more x-rays. I'm looking at your x-rays, they all look fine, but they're like 6 months old. We're going to do x-rays. He ended up being riddled with cancer
Oh, poor
in
baby.
his whole back end.
Oh,
And possibly if an MRI had been able to be done, it could have been spotted, but the vet said that it was a very aggressive type of cancer
mhm.
that was hidden. And the minute it appeared, it just blew up. and nothing probably could have been done.
Wow.
He may have been able to get an extra couple of months for thousands of dollars.
Right. Right. First of all, I think animals hide their illness very well. At least in my case, mine have
Mhm.
typically hid any illness up until kind of that, not, I don't want to say life threatening, but end of the life moment.
Right.
And it's like my soul dog Picasso. He had his spleen was grossly enlarged, like 3 times the size. No, it was actually hidden. You couldn't even see it, which is unusual because he was very, very lean, muscular,
Hmm.
amazing physique. And he hid it up to the very end, and I did go forward with the surgery and he bounced back and then crashed.
Right.
So I think they hide it from us. Um,
Yes.
and I'm not one personally. Everybody makes a decision that's right for them and their animals, but I just personally wouldn't put a dog or a cat or any animal through chemotherapy, especially or radiation at a later stage in life.
Exactly. And
It's
he was already like 10 years old.
right, right.
Greyhounds typically, they can live older, but
Mhm.
it's typically 12,
Right.
13. There are some that are much older, some go much younger, like
Thank you
other.
for being there for him. I mean, obviously that was your role in his life, was being there with him during those latter months, and helping him, assisting him in crossing over. And
Exactly. And
obviously.
he absolutely helped heal me somewhat
Mhm.
from the loss of Harley, because I was nowhere ready.
Well,
It
and
was
that's why they
only,
come in. I think that they, again, I have this on the cover of my book. Every animal has a soul, every soul has a purpose. And
yes,
so all of us, we all have a purpose for being here. And I believe that the animals do as well. God,
yes,
God created, whatever you want to believe, whether, you know, God is within you, God is outside. However, whatever this great creator is, we're all here for a purpose.
right. I believe that King Brian rescued me.
Wonderful.
It was only 5 months after my Harley had gone. I
Uh-huh.
still was grieving him.
Wow.
And and he taught me about a new breed. He taught me how awesome greyhounds are.
Yeah, I know they
And,
are. They're
you
beautiful.
know,
They're beautiful.
after he passed, I was like, that's it. I don't think I want another dog.
Uh-huh.
When I contacted the president at that time of the group
I'm just gonna take this.
and told her, I had to help Lincoln Cross,
You
they
meant
said,
King
whenever
Brian,
King
right?
Brian,
King
yes, I'm
Brian.
sorry,
Okay.
King Brian, when King Brian crossed and I contacted them to let them know, she said, whenever you are ready, you let us know, you can have another dog.
Oh,
And I was like, no, I don't know, and Queenie was still alive and she was older already again. And, no, 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 I just don't think so. And I don't know, probably 8 months later, I decided I think I'm ready for another greyhound. I think there is always going to be a greyhound in my life
oh,
as long
nice,
as they're around.
nice, wonderful. And that's
So,
when you got Lincoln.
and that's when I got Lincoln. I got him Christmas Day, Boxing Day, actually, the day after Christmas.
And I love,
Um,
I love this photo. That's great.
Yes, that is him, his personality. He is, let me show you, he is very, very lazy. Here he is on his
Oh, hi,
bed.
buddy. Oh, look at him. He's adorable.
There he is on his bed
Hi,
in the living
Lincoln.
room. um, he he has absolutely, I learned a lot from King Brian, but because he was older and
Mhm.
not well, I had to learn a lot of the different traits
Right.
of greyhounds. I lucked out with Lincoln. He has I'll say zero, but pretty much 99.9 no prey drive.
Oh, that's great.
So he's fine with smaller dogs.
Uh-huh.
He could not care less about the stray cats. The one thing that sets him off for some reason is armadillos. And it's the one and only time I have ever heard him bark more than
Oh,
one
wow.
woof.
Wow.
Is there was an armadillo in the yard and he stood over it and barked 3 times in a row at it.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was it. And
Wow.
he jumped around, you know how they have their paws down and their
Uh-huh.
butts in the air? He jumped a few times doing that around it and off it waddled, and that was it.
Well,
That
he's
was the prey
beautiful.
part.
He's a beautiful dog. He looks like one that I had who passed on in 2019. He was rescued from Eleuthera, and they look almost identical. Well, in Eleuthera, the street dogs are just mutts, so you never know what you're
Right.
getting. You know, like just a whole mess of something. So, and then you have Sassy.
Sassy, I got again, a stray found in my neighborhood. We never found the owner. She was not fixed or anything.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to keep her till we found the home, and here she still is. And that is, we found her in 2018.
I'm
And
sorry.
I've had her, you know, fixed and everything. I really, with the loss of Queenie, I wasn't ready at all. I mean,
There we go.
Queenie passed in March
Mhm.
of 2018, and it was only August when I found her. I was surprised we were never able to find her owners. There was about 4 of us in the neighborhood
Uh-huh.
checking out all the sites and going to walking her around the neighborhood in the area that she was found, and nobody ever, she looked like she'd recently been groomed and everything. House trained, very well behaved, except she's a barker. If and my favorite saying with her and my Harley was the same way. They'll bark if an ant walks across the patio outside, or they bark if an ant farts.
Right. That's great.
That's my saying. They bark if an ant farts. Yep.
Wow.
It could be 5 blocks away. The ant farted, the dog will bark for sure.
So you have, you're so blessed. So you have Sassy and Lincoln right now. And then
Yeah.
you also are involved with greyhound adoption.
Yes.
And
greyhounds,
I'm going to put that up there. You're with Gulf Coast Greyhound Adoption Organization.
It's called, actually that's wrong.
Is it?
It's Gold Coast Greyhound Adoptions, Gulf Coast branch.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know where I got that from. Okay.
Yeah, it's called because it's Gulf Coast branch, but as far as I know, it is goldcoast.com. Let me quickly. No, you are absolutely right. The website is.
I didn't want to put something at
greyhoundadoption.org. Yes.
Okay. And that's the organization that you're involved with right now, doing greyhound adoptions.
Yes. The proper name for them is Gold Coast Greyhound Adoptions.
Okay.
Gulf Coast Chapter.
I follow you. Got it.
But that is their website. I'm looking on my phone right now, and that is their website.
Okay.
So yes, and they do events, meet and greets the 3rd Friday of every month. They are in Safety Harbor at the big market there.
Okay.
On the 2nd Saturday of every month, which is this coming Saturday, they are at Dog Lovers right here in Tarpon.
Oh, wonderful. I'll have to stop by. So this Saturday coming up.
12 to 2, they are there. Yes.
Beautiful.
Meet and greets. Yes.
I'll have to stop in.
They go. Another event is the third Sunday of every month, they are at a pub called Crooked Thumb.
Okay.
Again, it's approximately 12 to 2. That's in Safety Harbor as well. And there is another event. I don't have it written down. I want to say it is the third Sunday of every month. It's at a brewery called Hob,
Okay.
HOB in Dunedin.
Well, that's amazing. I know that people, with the organizations, various rescue organizations or adoption organizations, the time that they spend, on the weekend, I mean, they really give selflessly, and spending a couple of hours on Saturdays and Sundays at these events, trying to find homes for the animals in need. So I'm always impressed by that. You see them at Petco, PetSmart, the various places that you've mentioned. People give a lot of themselves, and
Right.
it's wonderful to see, because there's no other way of finding these animals homes. There's just so many that are in need, especially right now.
Right, exactly. And the nice thing about Gold Coast is now, since there is no more greyhound racing
Yes,
in
thank
Florida,
God. Yes,
they,
yay.
yes, and they have expanded themselves to do greyhounds. Let me explain. Greyhounds, our group is neutral.
Mhm.
So I can't get into any details or
Sure.
give my opinion if I'm representing Great Gold Coast,
Mhm.
but they are neutral on racing, and our dogs are retired. They are not rescued.
Right,
Okay, greyhounds that race, that's their job.
right.
They
They are
are
raised to race.
retired. Yes, but we have expanded where we work with several other groups. One of them is called Greyhounds in Motion,
Mhm.
and they rescue dogs from Spain and Ireland, and that dogs, galgos and
Okay.
podencos.
And
So
let's stop
they're
here, because that's the one that's missing, right?
yes, and I
Okay.
have. If you want to bring me back up onto the main where
Yes,
that.
let me do that so that everyone knows, the organization that Esther was just referencing brought a dog from Spain named Rusty. And Rusty has been missing since what, the first?
Since June, I don't know the exact date, but
Okay. Oh,
since
since June
June.
1st. Rusty has been missing since June 1st of this year. And so anybody who's watching this, who lives in the area in near Tarpon Springs or in Tarpon Springs, Rusty has been missing since June 1st of 2022, was brought over from Spain and unfortunately got loose. He was just seen, what, yesterday, Esther?
Over the weekend.
Over
Yeah.
the weekend. Okay. So he
Only
is in the area. And there are many, many people out there trying to capture Rusty. But if you see Rusty, do not approach, give a call to the number that was on the poster. And there's posters
right.
everywhere, like all over Tarpon Springs.
Yep. Yep. I even have them in my car windows.
Wow.
He has been spotted, so we know he is definitely still around. It's believed the last spotting this past weekend was like a half a mile from his foster home.
Which is right
And
near me. So I keep thinking maybe he'll smell my dogs and like come want to
right.
become a part of them, and I can just get him inside the courtyard. And
And we all kind of wish, driving around, we could find him and get him
I
in the car. But
know,
realistically, that's not going to happen. He's a street dog. And
right?
from your Bahama dogs, they're very unlikely to come up to you.
Yeah,
And
until they get socialized, which took a good. I have ones from Turkey also, the streets of Turkey.
right.
And one time the gate got open years ago, and I had 9 dogs going down Riverside Drive at
Oh,
one time.
gosh.
Yeah, we got
Right.
them all back, thank God, with no injuries. But
Right.
they they weren't going to come. They were going to go run and have a good time. And then finally, when their tongues were hanging down to the, the ground, they turned around and came back.
Yes. Well, Rusty has lived on the streets in Spain for a while. I mean, I think he's still fairly young, so it's not like it's been years and years, but he is very smart. These dogs are extremely smart.
Wow.
They aren't even sure how he got out of the yard. It's like a 6-foot fence. Either he climbed, and it goes backs up onto wooded areas, so there's all like bramble partially over the fencing. They did spot a bit of a hole that maybe he squeezed out of down at the bottom, which they've now covered up in that. But we've set up a huge trap in the yard. They took off part of the fencing and blocked it off, and they went into the wooded area and all the bramble. Luckily, that all happened before I got there because I didn't want to go into the bramble. But they dug a hole leading from a more open area right into the yard. So because he was spotted so close, they're hoping that they can entice him to get over there.
Hopefully he's going to tire out and want to return. I mean, that's what does happen eventually. They do tire out, and thank God, though, he's street smart to avoid traffic, but, it's still a danger for them, but they're at least more savvy than dogs who haven't been on the streets.
Exactly.
So.
And he's also, because he's from Spain, he barks in Spanish. So none of the other dogs can understand him.
Cute. Well, let's see. Now, you're also involved with Doggy Cakes. The shirt you have on.
This is a little shop that is in Port Richey. It is located on the corner of 19 and Jasmine.
Okay.
In the little plaza behind the Arby's. We do all the baking for biscuits and birthday cakes.
Oh, nice.
It's all baked on premises. We have a lot of natural remedy things there.
Okay.
No hide chew stuff. Everything is safe. We also commission, the owner has been trying to find people who want to commission their artwork or anything animal related that you do. Bring to the shop, show it to her. Mondays are a good day to go in with
we'll have
stuff.
We'll have to get Lois Kraft, who was in episode 3 of Tail Life TV, the pet portrait artist,
right,
and get her connected with you with Doggy Cakes.
Right. It's a wonderful little shop. They also do several markets. Where if you go to their page, which is doggycakes.com.
Okay.
And also they are located on Facebook, and you'll be able to see the different markets that they go to.
Beautiful.
They have this lovely little trailer that was converted. It was a small horse trailer. And they had it converted into a mini shop that they use at some of their markets.
Oh, beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I love to see these small businesses popping up and flourishing, especially after COVID and with the economy and everything. It's wonderful to see how many creative businesses have sprung up in the last couple of years, that people just said, you know what, I'm going to go for it and do my passion and follow my heart.
Well, to be honest, Doggy Cakes has been around for years.
Has it? Okay.
This particular location has only been there 4 years. I think this December will be 4 years. But the owners, Trina and Jason, are the owners. Did you ever hear of Pasco Pet Fest?
No, I mean, being in Pinellas County, I don't know much about Pasco and what with what goes on.
Festival that used to happen at a winery. um, out in like, I think it was Land O'Lakes or
Okay.
something, but it was huge. They had quite, and that was the event where I met King Brian,
Oh,
was at
beautiful.
Pasco Pet Fest. Well, Trina and Jason used to run it through the name Doggy Cakes, and they used to raise all the money that was raised from there went to a different rescue every year. Or when that winery shut down, the people retired and they
Uh-huh.
shut it down. They weren't able to find anywhere else, and she kind of took a different route and decided to open a shop
Oh,
instead.
wow.
But
Beautiful.
they've done like vendor events for years. They've been around.
Well, and the last thing is, because we're going to be coming up on an hour here, in about 10 minutes, and I want to get the rest in. I want to talk about your martial arts
Ah, yes.
because I think this is awesome. How did you get into martial arts, and where do you want to go with it?
This is my little journey, that
Uh-huh.
picture. So I was very heavy. I used to be a little bit over 300 pounds.
Oh, did you really? I would have never
And
known.
I tried the gym and I tried different things. I tried a load of different diets, and none of it was for me. It just wasn't working. I found the best way for me, my main problem I realized for losing weight was movement. I tend to be very lazy even though I'm involved in a lot of things. I don't like walking. I
Mhm.
call walking aimlessly, riding a bike aimlessly, going to the gym and doing this stuff. It just wasn't for me.
Right.
I eat fairly healthy anyway. I'm not going to say I don't have my piece of cake,
Well,
half a
sure.
chocolate cake, whatever, when I'm in the mood, but generally I eat fairly healthy. It was a matter of getting exercise. So this was something I've always had an interest in. And I thought, why not check it out? Most of these schools do free trials. And I did my research online first, and I chose this school. It's called Level 10 Martial Arts College. They are located in Palm Harbor in the
Mhm.
plaza by Nebraska and 19,
Okay.
behind the McDonald's. Um, I love how they do their program because it is not only about martial arts, and it's not only good for kids. I've never been the most confident person. Okay. This place also helps you build on your character. It teaches you leadership skills. It helps you reach your personal
Mhm.
potential as
Beautiful.
well. And
Oh,
for someone older, I mean, I will say I'm going to be 65 soon. I've only been doing this, I'm coming up to my 1 year anniversary on the 20th.
God, good for you. That's
So
awesome.
the top picture on the left was
Uh-huh.
when I decided to, that is the Grandmaster. When I decided my trial period was over and I got my white belt, that meant I was making some sort of a commitment to
Mhm.
going. The top right was my yellow belt, which was the next belt. And then when I got my orange belt, the bottom left was when I got invited into the leadership program,
Wow.
which means they start training you to, lead a class. And it means that you have made the commitment to go all the way to black belt.
Good for you. So you started this at 64, martial arts.
Correct. Correct.
That's
Right
wonderful.
before my 64th
That's
birthday.
wonderful, Esther.
And
I always say,
I originally started this just to lose weight. I wasn't even interested in the belts.
uh-huh.
The first few times I went to class, I was a little bit like, oh my gosh, like I'm the only adult. I'm here with these, like, there were a few older teenagers,
Mhm.
14, 15, 16. But the class was mainly like 8, 9, 10 year olds,
Mhm.
and parents are all sitting there, and there is this old lady walking in.
I
And
love it though. I think it's awesome.
at first, I was a little bit embarrassed, but you know what? I don't care anymore. It's built my confidence up
Good.
so much, and it's helped me lose a lot. I've gone down when I had to get my red and black uniform
Uh-huh.
from the white, I went down a whole size.
Good for you. And what about
And
the young kids? Are they welcoming now? I'm sure they must love it. I would.
oh, the kids were always fine. It was me that felt
Right.
uncomfortable.
Right. I got you. So
And
now it's really built your confidence with the martial arts.
absolutely, absolutely. It was me feeling like, oh, these parents are probably talking behind my back, like, what's this old lady thing? But you know, they do they call themselves college because he runs the school in semesters.
Okay.
Right now, we are about to finish our third semester, which means that we're going to be testing in a couple of weeks for our next belt if we qualify.
Well,
They do
beautiful.
not just hand out the belts, you earn them.
Well, I look
Uh,
forward to following you in your journey. And you're going to continue this and go as far and long as you can, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
I am hoping in the next 2 years to get to at least my provisional black belt.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful. What an
yes.
accomplishment, Esther. I think that is so amazing. And it's one of the things that I like to stress with these podcasts is, I hate to use the cliche, an old dog can always learn new tricks, and you're never too old to learn something new. And that was something I learned from my parents, about continuing to evolve and grow for as long as you can until you go in the
A-
grave.
Absolutely.
You
And the
go in the
thing
grave.
is, as an older person as well, this is great for mental strength,
Uh-huh.
improved flexibility, balance, strength, all of that.
Well, that's
I mean, for the
beautiful.
kids and for adults, adults lack confidence as well. I
Oh,
mean, it's a huge empowerment.
beautiful.
It's I tell you, I've gotten so much out of it. I absolutely, and this school is very much family orientated.
Mhm.
It is, I'm not going to say there isn't the little cliques,
Sure.
but it's, they also do events for the kids. They have a beach day. They do a day at the park. They have lots of different activities outside.
And you partake in those as well, right?
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can if you
Beautiful.
want to.
Beautiful.
Yes, with the whole family
Well,
is
thank you.
included.
Thank you for serving as an inspiration, for all generations, because we all, that's the great part about life. We're all here, we're all learning, we're all growing. And, I can look to young people and learn so many things. I can look to people older than me and, learn things from them. And that's what we're here for. We're here to support each other, to enjoy our journey, and to grow, as time goes by. Don't get
Right,
stale and stagnant, right?
right. Exactly, exactly. Lincoln, here.
Yeah, let's see Lincoln one more time here before we close out.
Him.
Oh
Let's
my
see.
gosh, he
Can
is
you see him?
precious. He's got that little white face.
Let's see if I can get him in the picture. Can you put me up on the where you have the karate stuff so I could see?
Oh,
a little
yes, I'm
better?
sorry. Forgot about
That's
that.
okay. I want to make sure. Here he is. So,
Hi, sweetheart.
sit,
Oh, he's beautiful.
sit. Oh, no, no,
Look
no.
how tall he is. My
He
goodness.
is. This is my. Oh, where is
I
he?
love him.
And here's Sassy.
Hi, Sassy.
Can you see her?
Oh, yeah, I can see her. Hi, sweetheart. She's like, what's
you
going
see
on? There she
Her
goes.
face. I love the fact I call them my twins.
They're
Because
beautiful.
their face markings from when I first got Lincoln before he turned white, their markings were very, very similar.
They're
So
beautiful.
I call them my twins.
Well, I think we've covered everything in our podcast. Have I missed anything or missed anyone? Because I don't want to miss anyone, any of the animals. And
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it.
I thank you. You're
Yes.
such an inspiration. Thank you for all you do with greyhound adoption, trying to find Rusty, doggy cakes. I mean, you're very involved with the animals, and I thank you on behalf of them, and I thank you on behalf of myself for all you do.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I really
Oh,
appreciate
you're
it,
welcome.
and thank you for everything you do
Oh, you're welcome.
for your guys.
Well, and I have one little special thing that I want to read to you, and I hope I'm not going to cry. Okay, reading this. This is a little something I did for you. And this is from you to Harley. I wrote this for you because you gave me the name of the song, "See You Again" by
Right.
Wiz Khalifa. And maybe you can explain the song. Did it come up shortly after Harley passed away?
When I had to put Harley down or help him cross over, I was very upset, obviously. When I got out to my car, I was sobbing my eyes out. And when I eventually started my car, the radio was on and that song came on, and that became our song. To this day, I pretty much cry every time I hear it. I cannot listen to it all the way through, no matter how hard I try. By the end, I'm crying.
Well, I can't sing, so I'm not going to sing it. I'm just put the first lyrics up. And I said, "To my dear, sweet Harley, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again." Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. "We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Oh,
Love you forever, Mom."
oh yes. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, honey. I wanted to put that up. You shared that with me, that song, and it really touched me.
Oh,
So when we see them again, they're going to be waiting for us at the Rainbow Bridge, right?
Absolutely. They're going to be falling over each other to come and greet us.
That's it. So it's hard. I miss my Bambi. I miss all of them. So it's
I tell you, I miss my dogs from my childhood even.
Yeah. They definitely leave paw prints on our heart.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you so much, Esther, for appearing on the show. I look forward to following you in the journey, and let's all pray that Rusty gets back home.
Yes, ma'am. You as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Bye, honey. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody have a great night. Thank you for joining us at Tail Life TV. We'll be back Thursday night at 7:00 with another story of rescue and healing grief after losing a loved one. Love you all. Bye.